afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be here because I get to talk about my favourite topic, which is leadership. You heard in the introduction that in a previous life, I have been a finance director in investment banking. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. I didn't move from finance to HR because I thought it was a good career move. I actually moved from finance to HR because I wanted to see what those people in HR did all day. Because my view of HR was that HR stopped business people from doing things. They ran the payroll once a fortnight and they sent people birthday cards. Not a great perspective from an HR person's point of view. But I was inspired to work in HR through a business person who I thought was a great leader, who said, "Can you come and work for me in HR?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know, that's not a job that people take seriously." And I think it's really important for HR people to hear that from a business person, because the way you get credibility with business people is to demonstrate to them that you understand their business. That you can show that a leadership program or flexible work practices or a wellbeing program or a new compensation and benefits program or a reward program actually adds value to the business. And that it has a direct impact on the business. And the reason I was asked to move from finance to HR was I actually helped build the business case for paid maternity leave in Australia. So back in 1995, we had maternity leave in Australia, but it was all unpaid. No one had paid maternity leave. So what I did was I built the business case so that in economic terms I could demonstrate, and at the time it was one of the four major banks, and I'm sure most of you have heard of Westpac. Westpac, CBA, NAB and ANZ are the four big banks in Australia, and as of Monday were out of 8 banks around the world which are AAA rated. Those 4 banks are now AAA rated. So I was working at Westpac at the time. I was in a finance role. My job was head of finance for technology, operations and property. I looked after a budget of 800 million. I had 35 other accountants working for me. Every accountant's dream to work with other number crunchers. And I was asked to do this job in HR. And what I did was I built the business case, paid maternity leave. And what I could do was show that every time women went on maternity leave and did not come back to work, it cost us money. In fact, it cost us more money when they didn't come back to work than if we paid them maternity leave and they came back part-time. Now, anyone who's worked on a project would know that a payback period of 3 years is a very good payback period. And I guaranteed that if we increased the return to work rate of women, which at that time was less than 50%, to 65%, what we would do is we would actually recover within 3 years the investment in paid maternity leave. Then I also showed that when women didn't come back from maternity leave, it cost us advertising and recruitment fees and retraining. And I could show that if you took a supervisor or team leader who only had 6 years experience, it would cost between $85,000 and $100,000 in recruitment fees, in advertising fees. And it would take 3 to 6 months before the new employee would be at the same level of effectiveness as the employee we had lost. And then I showed how if you had a woman at a junior or middle management level and you lost them and they didn't come back, what would happen is that it would cost you between $150,000 and $200,000 in advertising costs, recruitment costs and retraining, and it would take 6 to 12 months before the new employee was at the same level of effectiveness. And on that basis we actually showed that in economic terms it made business sense, and that was the language I used. Economic benefits, costs of getting it wrong, using business terminology, and within a year of introducing that, we increased the return to work rate of women from 50% to 65%.